43 climbers died in seconds on Lenin Peak. It remains the deadliest single mountaineering accident in history. July 13th, 1990, a Friday. Camp 2 on the Razdelnaya Route, 17,388 feet above the Pamir Steppes. 45 climbers from 8 nations were resting in their tents. The camp sat on a broad snowfield climbers called the Frying Pan, wide, flat, considered safe. At 9:30 p.m. local time, an earthquake struck deep beneath Afghanistan, 150 miles south, magnitude 6.4. The climbers felt nothing. The ice absorbed the shock, but high above them on neighboring Chapaev Peak, a building-sized block of serac shook loose. It fell onto the slope, and then the mountain came down. The expedition was international. 26 climbers from the Soviet Union, most from the Leningrad Mountaineering Club, 6 from Czechoslovakia, 4 from Israel, 3 from Germany, 2 from Switzerland, 1 each from Spain and Italy. Lenin Peak stands 23,406 feet on the border between Kyrgyzstan and Tajikistan. It was considered the easiest 7,000-meter peak in the world, non-technical, accessible, heavily climbed. Camp 2 had been used for years without incident. The Frying Pan was trusted. 2 climbers were positioned at the camp's edge when the avalanche hit: Alexei Korin from Russia and Miroslav Brozman from Slovakia. The wave of snow and ice buried them. Both dug themselves out. Korin had a broken arm, Brozman a broken leg. 43 others stayed buried. The serac fell from Chapaev Peak and triggered a massive snow and ice avalanche. It crashed onto Camp 2 and buried the Frying Pan under 20 feet of debris. Korin and Brozman heard voices beneath the ice. Trapped climbers were still conscious, calling for help, but the 2 men were injured and alone. They dug with their hands. The debris was already hardening. Within hours it had frozen into glacier ice, solid, impenetrable. No one else survived. Soviet helicopters arrived the next day and searched for weeks. They recovered 1 body. The rest remained entombed in the Razdelnaya Glacier. In 2004, 14 years later, glacial melt began exposing human remains at 14,000 feet. More surfaced in 2008. Some were recovered and buried near base camp. Most are still inside the mountain. The earthquake originated 216 kilometers beneath the Hindu Kush, too deep to feel, but deep enough to kill. No one at Camp 2 reported shaking. The climbers never knew what was coming. A memorial plaque now stands at Achik Tash Base Camp, 11,800 feet below where they died. 43 names, 8 nations. The partial remains of an unknown number are buried nearby. Climbers still attempt Lenin Peak every summer. Camp 2 was relocated 300 yards from the Frying Pan, higher, farther from the serac zone. It sits in a spot that was swept by the avalanche. The route is still climbed. July 13th, 1990. The Razdelnaya Route, the Frying Pan. 43 climbers who trusted a camp that had been safe for decades, until it wasn't.